Hello BookTube, welcome back to my 2026 library tour. In this episode, I'm going to be finally finishing off this bookcase here. The books on this bottommost shelf are an assortment of European history works. Starting with the Transwise book or bridge book, it is Medieval Warfare, Triumph and Domination in the Wars of the Middle Ages by Peter Reed. I picked this up, probably about 10 years ago from the Wicklow County Friends at the Library book sale and have not gotten around to reading it. On the shelf proper, things start with Napoleonic history, starting with a biography of the man himself. This is Napoleon Alive by Andrew Roberts. Have not read this yet. This book is probably a strong candidate for People April, depending on how the rest of my reading plans for April pan out. Next is The Napoleonic Wars, A Global History by Alexander Mikaberidze. So this is a history of the various wars waged by Napoleon and against Napoleon with a global focus. So most histories of the Napoleonic Wars focus on the wars in Europe. Napoleon's wars against Italy and the Holy Roman Empire, Prussia, Russia, Britain, Spain. But this focuses, in addition to those campaigns, also campaigns in the Caribbean, South America, Asia, the Pacific, and North America. And it is pretty good. I rather enjoy reading it, even if it did start to clog down at the end. In a similar vein, The War of Wars, the epic struggle between Britain and France, 1789 to 1815, by Robert Harvey. So this is a history of the French Revolutionary Wars with a special focus on Britain as the main antagonist to France. Have not read this yet, although I've heard it is highly recommended. I also have a work on the end of the war, Rights of Peace, the Fall of Napoleon and the Congress of Vienna by Adam Zamoyski. Have not read this yet. Moving on to Nordic history, Children of Ash and Elm, A History of the Vikings by Neil Price. So this is a new history of the Vikings with some new arguments about them that I think are a bit controversial, although I've also seen discussion of this book being highly praised. I myself have read it a few years ago and rather liked it. I did not have as much success with Embers of the Hands, Hidden Histories of the Viking Age by Eleanor Barraclough. This came out a bit more recently, and I tried it, I think, last year and just did not get on with it. Cross and Scepter, The Rise of the Scandinavian Kingdoms from the Vikings to the Reformation by Sverre Bagge. Have not read this. I'm not even entirely sure if it's not in translation. Okay. It is not in translation. It would be awesome if it were. So the next few books are Venice books. First up, A History of Venice by John Julius Norwich, which I picked up, I'm pretty sure, from the Friends of the Library book sale. Although I might have also picked it up from St. Edward's University when they had a book donation thing. but it is in pretty rough shape. I have no idea what the heck that is, but I have not gotten around to reading this, even though I have had this book for a long time. And two more recent books on Venice that I have attempted to read and have had no success with are City of Fortune, How Venice Won and Lost the Naval Empire by Roger Crowley, which I picked up from Book Depository, and La Serenissima, The Story of Venice by Jonathan Keats, which I picked up, I think, from Blackwell's. Because I think by the time this was available in that edition, a Book Depository had already been shuttered. Moving on to Florence, The Black Prince of Florence by Catherine Fletcher, The Spectacular Life and Treacherous World of Alessandro de' Medici. This is a really good biography of Alessandro de' Medici. It is fantastic. I really enjoyed it. The House of Medici, Its Rise and Fall by Christopher Hibbert. I think I read this and rather enjoyed it, but it's been a very long time. And now on to more general medieval history. Blood Royal, Dynastic Politics in Medieval Europe by Robert Bartlett. This is, I think, a series of lectures about medieval dynastic history. Have not gotten around to it yet. Life in a Medieval City by Joseph and Francis Geese. Have not gotten around to this yet either, even though I have heard it some praise for it. And finally, the last book on this bookcase, Feudal Society, Volume 1, The Growth of Ties of Dependence by Mark Bloch, translated by L.A. Mannion. And, okay, so it would have been translated from the French. Have not gotten around to this yet, even though I've had this book for a very long time. So that wraps up this bookcase. I will be starting on this bookcase behind me tomorrow, focusing on the right and left end shelves, before next week finishing off the history part of my library tour with these long middle shelves, which, since there are 5 of them, will take me a whole week to do. So look forward to that, and I will be back tomorrow, obviously starting on this shelf here. So until then, BookTube, thank you and have a great rest of your afternoon.